Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business again, and let's wake up the football gods here. Wake up here, guys. All right, man. It's game day. We got a game. Our Dallas Cowboys will be playing this afternoon, tonight. Tonight, 8 o'clock, 8:05 is the kickoff, I believe. We'll start our live stream at 7:45. I hope you guys tune in, join us. We have some fun. We have the ladies up in here and everything else. We have our usual trolls like Eastside Shirley. And now, of course, we've got Giant fans and Washington fans that are definitely feeling themselves because they are, for once, not in the basement. And, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, along with the Philadelphia Eagles, are battling it out for high draft picks. It sucks, but then again, at least in the offseason, we got something to look forward to. We're going to have the Dak Prescott watch where the Cowboys end up franchise tagging him at the end of February. Before free agency starts in the middle of March, we'll be looking at the draft and how many picks we have and so forth. And so as we sit currently at this moment, as we speak, we're sitting at 5. I think if we lose tonight to the Baltimore Ravens, which with our offensive line being in shambles, okay, we went from having a few years back the best offensive line in football to now having third string tackles playing for us, and it's just a shell of itself. I don't know that we're going to be able to get a victory here, but it's the NFL. Hell, the Jets could have had a victory if they decided to not wake up and say we're trying to get the number one pick and throw the game. So you never say never in the NFL because that one year we were 1-15 beating the Washington football team. Well, there's that. So if we end up losing tonight, I believe we go back to the 4 spot. I don't think we'll get number 1 or number 2 spots, but it's conceivable that we could get to 3. I mean, it is possible. It is possible. And who knows? The Jags and the Jets both came close to getting wins. But let's say hypothetically, we are still that top 5 pick, that we are maybe even 3. And people will say, grab a quarterback so you don't pay Dak Prescott. Because we need to fill in on the defense. We need that money. We're better off if we just grab a franchise quarterback in the draft and worry about getting the defense together in free agency. Because, the Washington football team, they've been doing that every year. And it's been working so well, using free agents. It wasn't until they started drafting defensive linemen that their defense woke up. But it's my contention, because a lot of you guys will say, hey, get that quarterback. You're not going to be up there that often. Get a quarterback. It's my contention that we have a quarterback. And what teams will do to try and get one is freaking unbelievable. As we sit there, if there's a team out there that looks and says, we need one of those guys that are up there, and they decide to trade, it's a king's ransom. And I want to look back at 2 of the big deals that happened the same year that Dak Prescott was on there. The Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. The Philadelphia Eagles traded with the Doo-Doo Browns so they could get up to get Carson Wentz. I want to give you exactly the statistics on that trade, okay? So Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, those were thought to be the best 2 quarterbacks in the draft, okay? The Rams, and we'll get to the Rams trade in a few. The Rams that had moved up from 15 all the way to number 1, and we're going to deal with that king's ransom they had. So instead of the Browns drafting Carson Wentz, they traded with the Eagles. Now, this is the whole trade, okay? The Browns sent the number 2 pick in the 2016 draft, okay, along with picks 139 to the Eagles. Pick 139 and 27 to the Eagles for the number 8 pick, okay? So they moved back at 8, and they ended up getting the 77th pick in the draft and the 100th pick in the 2016 draft. So that's 3 picks that they got for that number 1. Then the following year, 2017, they ended up getting their 2nd round pick in 2018. I'm sorry, the number 12 pick in 2017. So they got another 1st round in 2017 and a second-round pick in 2018. So let me make sure I got that right. They traded the first with each other. They got the 77, which is a third-round pick, and the 100 pick in 2016. So they picked up 2 picks in that draft, okay? Then they ended up getting a second-round pick and the number 12 pick in the draft in 2018. Wow. So what did the Browns do with all this stuff? Because this gets to be crazy. What they ended up doing, this was literally like draft day. You know, if you've seen the movie Draft Day, where the Cleveland team is trading like crazy. So here, I'm going to give you the litany of what they ended up doing. Cleveland traded the number 8 pick and the 170 pick to Tennessee for the 15th and the 76th pick in 2016 and 2017 pick. They traded the 77 to and the 141 to Carolina for the number 3, 129, and 168. Cleveland then traded the number 100 pick to Oakland for the Oakland Raiders 114 and 154 pick. All those picks resulted in, this is what they ended up picking because of the trade they made. These are all the picks that they ended up getting out of it in 2016. Corey Coleman, Shu Coleman, Cody Kessler, Ricardo Lewis, Derek Kindred, Jordan Payton, Spencer Durango, okay? In 2017, they got Jarrell Peppers and they got Deshaun Kaiser, okay? Now, I'm going to say that the quarterbacks they got were ass, but regardless. And the final pick, the Browns traded to the Titans, I want to say. No, I'm sorry. The final pick for the 2018 second rounder was, of course, traded by the Browns during the draft weekend. The draft dealt that to the Colts and acquired Taquan Lewis. And they also picked up Chad Thomas with the 6-7 pick. Okay, so you can see how they could have stayed pat and taken Carson Wentz, but instead they took that pick. I'm not saying that all those picks were great picks. Cleveland has had a problem sometimes getting draft picks. But you can look at right now where the Cleveland Browns are versus where the Eagles are. They took all that draft capital, they traded around. They tried to fill in the roster, and right now you're looking at the Cleveland Browns. They're what, 9-3? 9-3. And right now you have the Eagles that are 3-8-1. So when you say, draft that quarterback, if you happen to miss, think about how much it's setting off. Because right now the Eagles are sitting here having had 5 years of Carson Wentz, who's now on the bench, who's gotten paid, and they had to turn around and draft another quarterback. But here it is, Cleveland stocked the cupboards. Now let me give you another one here because, like I said, to me, you look at the draft as a way of replenishing your stock. You're going to have guys that get old, okay? You're going to have guys that are going to get injured. You're going to have guys that just can't play. And you've got to have some guys in the cupboard that are ready to take over. And see, here's the problem for the Eagles. Because they made that trade, because they're giving up 2 number 1s for them, and those second-round picks. Those second-round picks should be starters on your team. In fact, the third-round picks should be starters on your team. Could you imagine had the Eagles gotten, 4 other players that were good starters on their team that were young right now? How they would be in a better position had they not moved all the way up for them? Okay, let me give you another one here real quick. And this one is crazy because you look at the Rams. The Rams were 15th in the draft. They moved all the way up, traded with the Titans, okay? Traded with the Titans so that way they could get Jared Goff, okay? So what they gave up was 2 first-round picks, 2 number 1s, 2 second-round picks, and 3 third-round picks, okay? 3. If you go back to last year, because this article was written in January of 2020, before the pandemic really hit, 5 of those players that were a direct draft, including Derrick Henry, are starters on that team. Jack Copeland, Austin Johnson, Derrick Henry, Corey Davis, and Juju Smith. So when you start saying, Let's draft a quarterback. Okay. At best, you're trading out Dak for hopefully somebody as good as Dak. At best. But you could have ending up with a situation where you got Carson Wentz or Paxton Lynch or Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota or Jamarcus Russell or Vince Young or Josh Rosen. But with that spot, with that position, you can take and trade the hell out of it. Trade the hell out of it and all of a sudden get 3 or 4 great players to go along with the team that you have. Now, I'll be more than happy to have a discussion and a disagreement, a debate with somebody out there. I would love to hear from one of you guys that says that I'm stupid, that, you know, you tank for Trevor and all that's you got to get a quarterback. I want to hear your rationale for saying don't pay Dak. If you don't pay Dak, then that means you got to take the $37 million and you got to try and get yourself 4 or 5 great players like you can in the draft. If you pay Dak, you got draft capital that's going to get you guys young talent that doesn't cost you money, that you won't have to pay for 4 or 5 years. Guys that don't have a whole bunch of miles on them. I don't know how the hell else I can explain it to you. But you can look right now and say, Tennessee is better off having not made that move. Tennessee is better off making that trade with the Rams. That team is a solid team. And you can look and say that the Cleveland Browns are better off having made that trade with the Eagles, because both of those teams now have great players and great depth on the roster because of it. Whereas the other 2 teams, the Rams, they don't believe in holding on to those number 1 picks. They traded 2 for Ramsey. They believe in getting those veterans. That's what the Eagles have been having to try and do. Keep bringing in, the Deshaun Jacksons and things like that. Let's just go ahead and trade for this guy. You know what? We'll get this guy and we'll sign this free agent. But it's not a winning formula. It's unsustainable. And eventually it's going to come up and it's going to bite you in the ass. The draft is where it is. And like I said, I'm more than happy to have a discussion. If you want to debate me about this, send me an email and say, Mark, I got an argument that proves that you're a freaking idiot when it comes to this concept. And I'll be more than happy to put you right up here on the screen and we can talk about it. All right? That's all I have to say about this. Hope you guys tune in this evening for our live stream for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll see you. Look, I got 3 people already waiting. Dudes, what's up with that? It's only 1 o'clock. Jeez. All right. See you soon. Peace.